The Let Kashmir Decide movement is bringing to you a brand new show on JKTV where you will get the latest updates and analysis into the situation in Indian-occupied Kashmir.
Modi and the Indian government want the world to believe that all is well in Indian-occupied Kashmir, but that is decidedly not the case. Join us and different guests every Thursday for insight into the latest developments in the Kashmiri freedom struggle.
Thank you for joining us here tonight with Let Kashmir Decide, an insight into Indian-occupied Kashmir. My name's Claire Bidwell, and I'm here tonight with Mary Scully and our guest Ali Raza Syed. We're going to be discussing human rights defenders, the arrest of them in Indian-occupied Kashmir, political prisoners, and also the journalist situation, and a look at the human rights report that was released yesterday and other events that are going on. So good evening to you, Mary. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. And how is it over in America today?
Freezing cold, and I live in a subtropical zone, and it's freezing cold. So we're hanging out in the house.
Day. Oh, lovely. Right. We'll bring in our guests. So welcome to you, Ali Raza Syed. How are you this evening?
Thank you very much for having me. It's fine. It's cold evening in Brussels, but it's okay.
Right, fantastic. It's amazing how we're all spread. I feel like we're triangle across the world. So we've got Brussels, Scotland, and America. So Mary, I'm going to pass over to you then, that you can discuss with Ali the issues and events that are currently happening in Indian-occupied Kashmir. Okay, and I'll pop in if I feel I have anything to add or say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ali, we'd like you to begin by telling us who you are, what you know about your background, about your activism, and also about the political organization that you belong to, what they do, what their mandate is. You know, most of us don't know a lot of these things, and it's important in building a movement that we find out, you know, who we're working with in building a solidarity movement. So could you begin with telling us who you are? And
Thank you, Mary. I belong to Kashmir. I am from Kashmir, which is the part Pakistani side of Kashmir. I'm here in Brussels for last almost 40 years, and from college life, I tried to do whatever I can for my brothers and sisters in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So I got the opportunity here in Brussels in 2004, and from 2004 on, I'm working with the European parliamentarians, with the NGOs, and with other human rights organizations. Our main objective is to end the suffering of the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and to highlight the Indian atrocities in Jammu and Kashmir, and especially the Indian propaganda, which is everywhere here in the West. Especially they try to they always try to show that the Kashmir freedom struggle is a terrorist movement, and it's they are terrorists, and so. But one should not forget that United Nations Charter, United Nations Geneva Convention, they give the right to the oppressed people or the occupied people the right to resist with every means available. So the Kashmiris, they are peaceful people, and we are trying to convey the message of our brothers and sisters to the international community that they are suffering, they are under occupation. The Indian state terrorism, they are doing whatever they have. For example, they are using the pellet gun on children. You know, from 2016 upward, all the time, maybe more than 1,000 children, they are partially or fully blinded. United Nations report, it confirms what we, the Kashmiris, are saying. It is now, yesterday, another organization, Stroke and White Investigation, they launched a probe against the atrocities committed by the Indian occupation forces in Jammu and Kashmir. So the Kashmir Council EU is trying to create the awareness in European population, European institutions, European European civil societies, that they should be aware that what India is saying, it's completely lying about the situation. This is that it is there is no trouble. It is the peaceful area, and it is just because of the Pakistani involvement. But for that reason, I want to clear that this is not an issue of border dispute between India and Pakistan. It is the issue of 20 million Kashmiris, human beings. They are struggling for their basic rights, and we are not asking something special. We are asking the same thing which India and Pakistan signed in United Nations Security Council resolutions, that the people of Kashmir will have their right to decide. They will have the plebiscite for their future. But unfortunately, for last 73 years, India has always refused. And but now it's time. I think that if you see in last 73 years, East Kashmir got uh, independence. Why? Because there was UN resolutions, and the international community stood with them, and they got implemented the United Nations resolution. And then you can see South Sudan. It happened. United Nations Security Council passed the resolution, and it was succeeded. And then there are a lot of examples. But why the Kashmir there are a lot of UN resolutions, but there is no implementation up to now. But we are asking to implement the resolution which were passed, like on 5th of January 1949. There was a resolution passed for the plebiscite and for the right to self-determination, which is not implemented. But we need the international community behind us. We need the international community put pressure on India to bring to implement the resolutions. So that's what the Kashmir Council is trying to do. It's we are the human rights organization. We are trying to raise the issue of human rights, especially whenever it happens in Indian occupied Kashmir. Something happened. We try to convey a message to the authorities here and to the institutions here that this is happening, and what India is saying is lying. So this is short our.
I think. No, you do an excellent job, and you're absolutely right. And I mean, I've been aware of your work nearly for the last 2 years now, fortunate to come across yourself. So when I started campaigning, and I think you can see the strength of involvement. I mean, to go back to something you said there, we very much promote, this isn't about India and Pakistan. This is about Kashmiris. It's about human rights. It's that bigger issue. And we really try to dispel, those divide and rule aspects that come into it, for us all to look at what's happening here, what's just, what's right, what's fair. And with the human rights abuses and the narrative that India are following, I saw a very good example of that yesterday in terms of, I know I've tried a few times, about 5 times, to initiate a UK petition around whether it's releasing Yassin Malik, whether it's standing up for political prisoners, whether it's to utilize the United Nations resolutions, and generally I get them back. You know, I've never had a successful one yet. So they come back to me and it's things like, we can't interfere in the affairs of another country. Or so I've tried my language and changed it, and then it'll come back and they've got another excuse. So just a couple of days ago, we tried putting one in, or somebody else tried putting it in, I supported it, about tying human rights abuses to trade. And India was mentioned in there. It was mentioned, you know, to ensure that when we do trade with India, human rights are brought in. And sure enough, it came back again. But within the lines, it said that we cannot like make abuses or allegations against another country. And it was very frustrating because, you know, well, they're our government. They're meant to listen to us. And so I know that people are sort of working on it to see if we can use the human rights report that you mentioned earlier as a kind of, we've seen this and we're concerned. And now we want our UK government, because they're putting through a bill about trade deals, and we want them to. So we seem to be fighting a battle at many turns. The Facebook accounts, like, you know, I don't know, I've lost count of how many I've lost now. My YouTube channel is banned in India. I've been kicked off Twitter umpteen times just for sharing things that are happening. So as you say, India have got control of that narrative. And I think we do. We just keep going and reaching more people and uniting.
Ali, you mentioned, and Claire mentioned, the Stoke and White report that came out yesterday. Could you talk about that report before we get into the issue of the recent arrests and the whole issue of political prisoners? Could you talk about that report, which I have not been able to access and read, but I understand that you have. Talk about it and how important it is in terms of countering India's narrative.
Thank you, Mary. I think this is very important initiative taken by the Stoke and White investigations. If you see on the page 17, they are talking about Mr. Zia's extrajudicial killing. This is the person. He was found not guilty of any offense by the Indian courts. He was arbitrarily detained in different jails for 18 years of his life. And he was 15 years old when he was arrested.
Ooh.
We were told that Zia had martyred by the Indian forces. Multiple media channels reported that he was killed. You know, a person who was arrested in 2003 and he was in prison, and suddenly one day we got the news that he was killed in an encounter with the Indian occupation forces. How come? The jail record shows that he was in prison. So who brought him out? Who brought him out and who killed him? And then there was another story came out that he was brought out to identify the militant and to their hideouts. But how can a person 18 years in prison, how he knows where are the militant, even if he was linked to that? This is also a false propaganda. So we have to counter that. And in this report, they took this issue also, and they are asking to, for example, his dead body, his family, his brother says, we just want the dead body of Zia to be handed over to us, the family members, so that we can bury him with our hands. You know, it is the history. Our first martyr, the leader, Maqbul Bhatt Shaheed, was hanged, and his body is still in prison in Tihar jail. So he's still a prisoner after his death. And then there was Mr. Afzal Guru. He was hanged, unlawfully hanged, and it was condemned by the European Parliament also, because the decision to hang him was not on the facts. It was just to satisfy the people of India. So and then his body is also still in prison. So he's also after his death he's in prison, and there are a lot of others. And then there is a 12-year-old child shot dead outside family home while waiting for father to go to a local mosque. So this is another second case which they raised there. There is another 14-year-old child drowned by Indian police while attempting to escape en route to brutal police patrol. So there are always the youth who are trying to run away because of fear that the police, if they catch him, they torture them in cells, and sometimes they kill them in fake encounters. So this is the situation over there. In these situations, we are asking to international community, because these are the facts and these are the things in a structure of violence. This is the book Structure of Violence, which Khurram Parvez has his organization JKCCS has produced. It's almost 800 pages of this, and you can see in this report there is every case with the victim details, and those who committed crimes, their details are there. So we are asking to punish those people, to bring to the justice. But the Indian authorities, they gave a full free hand to the occupation forces. They can do whatever they want. They can kill, and then they can get reward for that. They can have the promotion for that. So that's why the killing is going on. But it will end, and I hope that it will end soon, because India cannot uh, uh, continue lying, and the Indian narrative now is not acceptable to the international community, because you see that in India itself, what is happening, the Hindutva, the RSS and BJP regime, what they are doing with the minorities, with Muslim minorities, Christians, with Sikhs, and with Dalits, with others. So it is not only the Kashmiris are saying. You have maybe heard about the Genocide Watch, the president of Genocide Watch. He said that if we don't take any action and if we don't look into it, the India is going to commit the genocide.
Yes,
So it's an early warning. He said we had done for Africa when it happened to with the Tutsis and the Hutus. He says we gave the warning, but nobody listened to us, and now they are giving early warning. So it's the duty of international community, duty of the big powers who are champion of human rights, who are the protector of human rights. So what the Kashmiris are looking towards is their action now.
Ali, that Structures of Violence report, that can be accessed on the JKCCS website, right? Is that the report from the Yes, okay. It would be accessed at jkccs.net, which has a lot of very valuable reports done by Khurram Parvez's organization, which is why he is now sitting in Tihar prison in Delhi as an Indian political prisoner. We want, before we move on from that Stoke and White report, because I haven't read it, do you think that that report is very valuable to publicize and to counter the narrative? Did you find it a very important document that we can campaign around?
I think it's a very important. I think it's a very important document. And this is what the Kashmiri should do. The diaspora Kashmiri who have the families there, and the families were victim of the occupation and victim of the Indian security state terrorism. I think we have to bring these to the courts in Europe and in North America and everywhere, wherever we can, to like the Wiesenthal organization, which was based in Vienna, and they have documented all the crimes committed by the Nazis. And
Yes.
this, I think, for us, it is very. I think, thanks to Khurram's organization, we have all the documents, we have the documentation, what crime is committed against whom, who was responsible. So we have to bring the responsible to justice. And this should be our move, and we have to focus on it. And everywhere, where are the Kashmiris living, or other organization, human activists, they should, who are against the injustice, who are against the state terrorism, who are against the genocide, they should bring it to their courts. And I think this is the move which will counter the narrative, Indian false narrative against the Kashmiris.
Yes. Thank you. We would like to talk about the entire issue of political prisoners, but we would like you to talk about Ahsaan Unto, who was just arrested on Friday the 14th, 2 months after Khurram Parvez was arrested and 10 days after Sajid Gul was arrested. So could you talk about who he was? And the organization he was the chair of the International Forum for Justice and Human Rights in occupied Kashmir. If you could talk about who he was a longtime activist, I know, and what his organization was. And then we can get into other questions around political prisoners. But if you could talk about him.
Mr. Ahsaan Unto, he is a peace-loving person. He is a human rights activist, and for a long time, he's trying to stop the atrocities by the Indian occupation forces in Indian occupied Kashmir. And I was sometime I was in touch with him. And even on the last day, the day when he went to the police station, he was away from Srinagar 2 or 3 days before. And he called me from there. He says, I got a call from the SSP and they want me to see. And he was afraid that maybe if he goes there, they will arrest him. Because the problem was that he was working on the fake encounter of Hyderpura and the other encounters where the Indian state terrorism, Indian occupied forces have killed the young innocent boys between 16 and 22. And he was working on that. And I think the Indian authorities, the occupation forces, they wanted him to arrest him because he should not issue a report, or he should not prepare a report. That is why he was worried that maybe they will arrest him. And before going to the station, police station, he called me and he says, I'm going in. I don't know if I will come back. So please take care and do whatever you can for me and for others. I promised him. I said, if the Indian security forces, if they arrest you, we will try to knock all the doors in European institutions, in Europe, and all over the world. We will try to highlight this issue because it
Yes.
is unjust. He's a peaceful man. He was a human rights activist, and he was arrested before also on these charges that he's always the Indian occupation forces are doing. They arrest the people without any charges, and they keep them for 2 years, sometime more. And then when they release, for example, we were talking about Sajjad Gul, the other journalist, a young journalist. He was arrested, and he was arrested. Why? Because he took some pictures, and he showed a story of a fake encounter, and the police was trying to harass him and always calling him. They were calling him to the police station, and then they were warning him that he will get in trouble if he continues. But he said, I am not doing anything. I am just telling the truth, what is happening. And at the end, they arrested him. And then 2 days ago, the session court gave him a bail to release him. And his family was outside. They were waiting for his release. And then they booked him again in with the draconian laws, and they put him in jail. So they are afraid. I think the India is afraid. If anybody talks about their atrocities, they want to silence these voices. And that's why the human rights organizations, or like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, or the other organization, they are not allowed to go to Indian occupied Kashmir. Why? If there is nothing to hide, if they are not doing anything, why they are not bringing them? Why they are not letting them come and see themselves, and they can report? It can be in favor of India if there is nothing happening. But why they are closing for international NGOs and for international human rights organizations? It means India is lying, and it is doing. It's trying to like the Genocide Watch president said, they are committing and they are started genocide the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and it should stop. I think it is time for international community to come forward. Sajjad Gul, Ahsaan Unto, Khurram Parvez, the person who is well known in the West. He is well known by the United Nations. The United Nations report of 2018 and 19, the most of the inputs are from JKCCS. So he is well known. And the rapporteur of United Nations Human Rights Council, she said that the Khurram Parvez is human rights activist. He is not a terrorist and well-known person, and they put him in the jail. And I am afraid that every voice which will try to stop the Indian atrocities and Indian forces, what they are doing in Kashmir, they will be silenced. And the people are afraid. And this is the time that now 73 years has gone. 73 years.
Yes.
And the suffering is continuing. It's continuing. It should stop. It should stop.
The Let Kashmir Coalition, part of its principles and its mandate is the defense of political prisoners. And there's a whole list of them. Khurram Parvez, Sajjad Gul, Asif Sultan. There's a whole list of them. And I'm wondering what your organization is doing and how the Let Kashmir Coalition can work with you and with others to make an international campaign to get those prisoners released. It's worrisome because we know that they simply hung Makbul Bhatt and as I forget his first name, Guru, the young man
Absolutely.
in Tahar prison also. And so it's worrisome when they retain these prisoners. I'm wondering how we can work with you to, to defend them, to make an international campaign around them.
I think, it's the need of the time that all the Kashmiris or all those who are working for the peace and for the rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, I think we did efforts, and that is this time, because the up to now we have the campaign, everybody's have to have in immediately, and we have to convince the international population, European local civil societies, and we need the support of civil societies in Europe, in North America, everywhere from the world, that they should come forward, and they will help us in a way that if they can talk to their representatives, their representative, they cannot ignore their constituents, so they will speak for that when their constituents will ask them. So we have to work together with all the organization, whoever is working, okay, but we have to have a coordinated efforts. Whatever happened, we have to launch a campaign, and we have to have the social media is there. We have other means of writing letters, emails to our representatives. For example, in UK, the people who are supporting this the peaceful means of resistance, who are against injustice, who are against human rights violations. So we ask them to write to their representative, their MPs, their lords, or whoever is representative. And the same in Europe also. We have to write to the MEPs. We have to write. If we write, if we can get the people, lot of people who are writing the same. If something happened today, tomorrow 10,000 emails should go to the representatives that this should not continue. And I am sure that the MEPs or MPs of the national parliaments, they will not ignore it. They will take into account, and they will speak about that. And that is the way forward. Coordination, and I will appeal to the Kashmiris also, all Kashmiris, whatever the organization they have, whatever their political organization or NGOs, they should have the 1-point agenda. We have to stop the human rights violation there, and we have to defend and ask the international community to implement the right to self-determination of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And the Indian narrative that it's the border dispute, we have to negate this, and we have to tell the world that it is the matter of 20 million human beings. It's the matter of human rights. It's the matter of basic rights which were promised to them by the international community and by the United Nations. So that's the way forward. I think we can achieve our goal, the peace and the rights which were denied by the Indian authorities.
Yeah, no, I think that's very well said, and I think that's very much after our hearts, that we have that belief that the more people we can bring to this, the more power that we can give. And that's obviously the way we work in terms of, so we have got, I don't know if you've had a chance to read it, it would be great to share it with you, where we've got our human rights mandate, and it makes the demands that we can all unite around for humanity. So it's looking at releasing the political prisoners, demilitarizing the area, looking at the injustices for the last few years, and then going towards human right, like self-determination. And what we're going to be looking for is endorsements for that. So we've got the document, and then we've got lots of names of all different Kashmiri organizations, prominent people around the world as a way of going forward. And then obviously, you know, at the moment, we're seeing how it's going. We had our Red for Kashmir campaign last year because we could see a lot of Indian occupied Kashmiris were disappearing off the radar. We felt a lot of Kashmiris were losing heart, and we wanted to do something. And it's kind of grown since then. We transferred it onto the solidarity events because it caused a bit of controversial, the color, which we didn't expect. So we're having our solidarity events every 5th.
Yes.
And I like, you know, you're saying there about writing to our MPs. And I think this 5th, when we, you know, share the campaign, and we are aiming it at Kashmiri human rights defenders that are in jail and the journalists. And as we saw just recently there as well, you know, they've shut down Kashmir Press Club. So we've got everything happening at once where they're silencing the voices, and we want to counteract that. So if we were everybody that had their cup of tea on that day, or had their day, or met with a friend and told just one person, please write to your MP and ask for the release of human rights defenders, that would be really valuable, I think. And then with this, you know, people like yourselves doing that work, that's how I see it, that we bring the people to this to give it the power. So very much sort of that teamwork. So thank you.
Thank you. And you know, one thing I would like to highlight also, it's the change of demography in Indian occupied Kashmir since August 5 2019. The Modi government is trying to change the demography. More than 3 million outsider non-Kashmiris are given the domicile or the right. So they are preparing, in my opinion, the Modi is preparing for the plebiscite in coming years or whatever. And before that, he wants to change the demography. We have to stop that. And this also we have to highlight. And the other thing also, you know, if we go into the genocide.
Yes.
What is the genocide? Genocide, and if you see the international media, what the terms and the words they are using for the Kashmir conflict, for example, ethnic cleansing, they are using this, and they are using the double lockdown. You know, we had the lockdown, and then the COVID lockdown, and then it is still lockdown over there. And the internet was cut off. They cannot speak. If somebody write on the Twitter or on social media, they are arrested, they are watched. And then up to now, you know, if I go back to 2008, there was 2,700 mass graves were uncovered, and European Parliament has passed a resolution on it as well, and it is written in the report also. There are almost 11,000 women are raped, and in rape cases it's a war crime, because Indians they are using as a tool. You know, there is a very a tragic day on 23rd February in 1990. It was Kunan Pospora. Kunan Pospora is 2 villages, and there they raped the children from 8 to 60 years old ladies. They separated the male and female, and then the gang raped. And this is up to now, not a single person is prosecuted.
No.
And it's you can go on. There are a lot of people who were unjust. They were killed in the fake encounters, or they were raped, or they were blinded, but there is no justice there. There is not a single person was convicted. So it is time now. India says that it's the biggest democracy, but in democracy it cannot happen. Democracy, you have to give answer whatever you do, and I think it is very important that we have to highlight all these issues: the rape issues, the mass
Yes.
grave issues, and the blind. There was a girl called Insha. She was medical student, and she was blinded. Even she was not participating in anything, and she was blinded for life. So these type of criminals who committed crimes, they
Yes.
have to pay. Justice should be done, and that's why
Yes.
it is very important that what the Stoke and White has done, we have to do everywhere. We have the list, we have the documentation, we have the criminal's name, we have the victim's name, whatever what happened. So we have to bring it to the system, universal justice system. In everywhere where we are living, we have to go to the courts and ask the probe against these crimes, because Indian government, India is not doing. If India is not doing, someone should come and do it. And the International Tribunal for Yugoslavia, International Tribunal for Rwanda. So the day will come, there should be a
Yes.
tribunal for Kashmir, and it will happen. I am sure that there will
Yes.
be a tribunal, and all those criminals who have committed crimes against the civilian, against the
Yes.
innocent people, they will pay the price.
I agree with you. Do we have time, Claire, for any more questions? Or
If there is anything you feel you'd like to ask Mary, please do. And then if not, what we could do is pass it over to Ali to say anything, any message beyond. I mean, that was so comprehensive what you've said, and I know, there is so much going on. We really could speak about this for 24 hours without stopping. So it's really difficult for us to home on in. So you've shared a lot. Mary, do you have another question or anything that you're thinking about that you would like to ask?
Ali, do you have anything that you would like to add? Because I do have one question.
Yes.
I'm wondering if the Kashmiri struggle is an anti-colonial struggle, and I'm wondering if you think that there's the possibility. There are certainly advantages, but a possibility for building strong links of collaboration with the Palestinian solidarity movement, with the Rohingya movement, with the Uyghur struggle, because it's all part of the anti-colonial struggle. And I'm wondering if you think there's any possibilities for real collaboration with them.
I think yes. Every oppressed person, we have to share the same. If we are oppressed anywhere in the world, we have to work with them, and we have to bring the oppressor and the occupied power to highlight the suffering of those oppressed people. And I think what I will say is that the best way to move forward is that all the international human rights organization and the oppressed people, they should unite against the universal declaration of human rights, that the basic rights should be protected and should be respected, and whoever is not respecting, we have to launch the campaign, a united campaign against those colonial power. And especially in India, it's the apartheid regime, like it was in South Africa. What they are doing is the Indian, the Hinduata policies, the RSS. You know the history of RSS. RSS is the same like the Nazi party. They have the same ideas. They are the same followers, and they are trying to do in India also. We need the support of Indian civil society also, Indian human rights activists also. They can be part of the campaign, and we have to convince the people that we are not against any nation or any people. We are against the oppression. We are against the occupation. We are asking for the basic rights. So the basic rights should be respected, and whoever supports us, I think it will be good. We have to bring all those human rights activists and humanists to support us. Yeah, and that's the
Yes.
way forward. And the occupation forces or the fascist regime cannot stand if the civil society and if the the human beings, if they resist and they come out, they cannot stand. And the end is always that you have seen what happened in Soviet Union, and India is on the same path for disintegration, I will say, if the Indwata policies continue, if they continue the paid terrorism, the day will come, they will pay the price for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Do you have anything that you would like to talk about that we haven't? Do you have anything you would like to add, Ali?
Uh, I think we covered much of it, but I think we have to focus on at this moment the Ahsaan Unto, Khurram Parvez, Sajjad Gul
Yes.
for their release. We have
Yes.
to, I think we have to do whatever we can to on social media or just Kashmir Council we wrote the letters to the European institutions, to External Action Service, to the President of the European Union. We wrote the letters. We are always conveying the message. But I think if we can have coordinated effort, we can bring those people out and stop what the Indian authorities, Indian occupation forces are doing. It should be coordinated efforts. And I give the message to my brothers and sisters in Indian occupied Kashmir that they are not alone. We are standing with them. The international community, the
Yes.
humanists, they are standing with them, and we will succeed, and they will get their right tomorrow, or maybe we have to wait some time, but they will get it, and they will get
Yes.
their freedom. Nobody can stop that. Indian forces or India's power cannot stop the will of the people of Jammu and Kashmir for their basic rights and for their freedom.
Yes. Yes.
well, that's very encouraging. Thank you very much. And I mean, I think Mary, I'm sure will agree with me. You know, when we get like this, when we look at when we're solution focused and we use that energy in that right direction, you know, it's a lift. It's a, you know, and to have that, as you say, and that's what I totally believe, the unity and raising the voice as ordinary people. I know that so many other people around the world would be horrified, and because it's not in our mainstream media here in the UK, so many people don't know. So if we just keep bashing forward with that, and I mean, as solidarity events that we have on the 5th, that's our part of our campaign. They may metamorphosize, they may change. We don't know where it's going, but it's our attempt just now to reach that. And very quickly, it's about 2 minutes, I think. I'll just share the video, and this is from January the 5th. This is a compilation of people that had tea with Kashmir, had meetings, and it's simple, the feedback from all of them. So I'm just going to share that. Then we can have a few more minutes discussion how we can take the one forward on the 5th and other unity efforts. And then we can say good night, because that will be us at the hour, I think. So that would be great if you both stay there Don't go anywhere. And I'll play this video, and hopefully it does play.
My Kashmir, my Kashmir, my Kashmir, my Kashmir. If our Kashmir one last year, prayers of peace for fight to see. Within ourselves, we will about to try. Our voices cry, Azadi, Azadi. Smiles so clear to sell your fear. Stand by my side, let Kashmir decide.
Ali, it was lovely talking to you and meeting you. Thank you very
Me
much.
too. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Mary.
Thank-
Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome, and I hope you will join us for tea on the 5th, and we will ask everybody everywhere to write regarding Ahsaan Unto and, you know, other, I think Karan Parvez, the other human rights defender, and make it about the human rights defenders and the journalists that are being held.
Yes.
And I think our request to everybody
Yes.
when we do join for our tea is to write to your member of parliament, to your council, to your representative, and talk when, you know, we aim to as well keep talking about Kashmir. So for everybody that joins us on the 5th, if you can please, even before then, every day, tell somebody new about Kashmir, and keep the voices up and writing, and people are building. And I loved your message to the people in Indian occupied Kashmir, because it's about that very much with the solidarity campaign. As you said, they're not on their own, and there's people raising the voice out here and not forgetting them. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Ali, Raza Syed. It was an absolute pleasure. And Mary,
Yes,
thank
it
you
was.
to you also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire
Okay,
Bidwell,
thank
and
you.
thank you, Mary. Thank you very much for having me, and we will stay in touch, and we will do whatever we
Absolutely.
can to end the suffering of the people.
Thank you.
No, brilliant. Thank you so much. Take care. Good night. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for watching.